Hi, we are Anna and Severin leading the commission team.
And as part of this team, we're collecting money for a future C3 building. Today we have Sarah and Simon with us who tell us more about why we need a building. So let's start with the first question. 40% of what we're collecting is distributed to a future building. Why do we as C3 Zurich need a building?
I think it would help all the teams, like they don't need to set up every Sunday anymore. The kids' rooms are ready, the church room is ready, and it could have our own stamp on it, like the same as here in the hub. It belongs to us, and you can feel it when you come in because it's ours, right?
Yes, I think C3 is a local church. We are a church for Zurich, a community of faith, hope and love in Zurich. And I think that's very biblical. If you read the New Testament, the letters are to the church of the Ephesians, of the Colossians. It's always focused on a certain area. It's a local church, not just a church somewhere. And we as a church want to be more grounded in Zurich, want to reach more people, want to have a footprint where people can actually realize that's where the church is. And at the moment we're just renting a facility in a dance club that turns into a church for the time we're there. And that's fine. But having a place that is open every day of the week could increase the way we reach people by 7 times. And that's what it is about.
We already tried to acquire buildings in the past, right? What exactly happened?
So,
Oh God. It kind of always, there were always reasons why it fell through. Once the owner decided in the end to use it for himself, and once it was in a specific area where they want to have more of like culture things going on.
We're actually not trying to acquire a place at the moment. What we're looking to is to rent and have a permanent rental that we can model into the place we want to use. One of the takeaways from the last 3 times that we have tried to find a permanent rental, which the hub now worked out, is that you have to be ready spiritually, financially. You have to have a team ready, because when the opportunity presents itself, then you just have to be on spot. And one part of the equation is money. Yeah.
So another building that we already have is the place we are right here, the hub. Tell us a bit more about the hub.
Yeah, so the hub came as an office space. It had like little cubicles. What you see right now, it was 3 little, really tiny rooms, but the floor setup was okay, and we could rent this as a temporary location. We know it's going to be remodeled at some point, and therefore the price was really low. And with a very dedicated team of a few people in the church, we remodeled that place, took out walls, built in this kitchenette, and made it a fantastic place to meet up during the week. We have so many things going on through the week, and it has really impacted our church. It has also created safety during the time of COVID, where we weren't sure, can we rent Bananenreiferei or not? Things like that were really crucial for us.
And also it's Simon's office. When he wants to escape our place, when he wants to meet people in Zurich, it's just so much easier than traveling to where we live, a little bit outside of Zurich. And he really enjoys the quietness.
It's a beautiful place.
And the pizza place around the corner.
True. Yeah, you already said, despite COVID restrictions, this place enabled us to do a lot of things. Could you name some of the things?
So on Monday there's a Connect group going on. On Tuesdays there's another Connect group meeting here. We have been meeting as part of the leadership team here. Band rehearsals right behind these cameras is a band equipment. So the band was able to meet here every week. We were able to have parties here, run money courses. We were able to the teens were meeting over summer here. They had their own place that they made their own. And so although that's not the end of the list of things that we could use it for, that's what we did with it. we did the summer Sunday recordings here. We were able to actually run church in a very laid back and Sabbath-like style because we were able to record here. So it's really crucial to have a place to our own.
Having heard so many amazing things that we can do with the hub, I almost don't dare to ask the next question, but how much longer can we actually still have the hub?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, they called us in for a meeting not long ago, and we were like, this is the end. But then it's kind of exactly that way. But Simon came home really happy, and they told you that they're gonna at least have us here till I think next summer, if not longer.
So realistically, legally, they try to get to the minimum of it. It would be next summer, but the way it's set up at the moment, and what we know from the surrounding places that are actually taking legal action for the building that is planned to be here, summer probably is going to be the earliest possible to get out. Still, although we don't know how much time, more than summer, there is a time tag attached to it. So at some point, we will have to vacate. We will hear it, and then we have 90 days to find a different place. And that's a short time. Obviously, we have to look now already.
Great, yeah. So let's do a bit of dreaming together. So how would the ideal building for our church be like?
Wow.
Start with the entrance. You're the welcomer.
Yeah. So I would love like a big entrance where you come in and there's a lot of light and people can meet and mingle and kind of it's like a first step into church, like the room before the auditorium. So with little tables or maybe a coffee area.
A nice coffee machine.
Of course, that's the most important thing. And that would be like the entrance area.
I think an auditorium should give people a way to be focused on the right things. So one thing that we notice is that tech, as amazing as it can be, can actually also be a distraction when it doesn't work, because and that would be really a chance for us to have it in our own place, where you can set it up not just temporarily, permanently. I think that also would enable us to stream services more tailored to online audience, to people who are kind of looking into church, peeking in, is that the right place? Other than that, I think a church should be a place of gathering where you can do more than just sing and read scripture. There should be a place where we can eat food together. It has to have space for courses. Ideally, everyone would be in the same building as well, so we don't have to send the teens away or don't have to send kids into different areas or things like that. So we can all really like be in proximity and experience this one place, one church all together.
And over the summer we sent the kids to like a little summer camp.
Oh yeah.
And that church had their own little building with a garden, and it felt like, they invited us home, and it was their garden and their house, and it just felt like something I would love to have as well. It doesn't really matter how it looks. We just would make it our own as this space here.
We really felt those kids in the neighborhood. They were attending this kids program, and they were singing the name of Jesus. They were hearing stories of the Bible. Their parents weren't Christian, but the kids became, and it affected the neighborhood. It had a lasting effect on Zurich, although maybe just a small area, and it was a really small church. But I think we as C3 Zurich could do the same thing if we would invest now. So when the season is right and when God opens the door for us, that we can seize the opportunity and take a stand in this city.
And I think that was really nice. We heard a lot about what it could enable us around the service, right? So I think there are also a lot of other things that it could enable us to do. Could you name a few of those?
One thing that COVID has shown to us is that online is not just a window. It is a window into the church, but it can be also a place of community for so many people. That needs a lot of tech and a lot of work, and if you have to set it up every Sunday, it always remains at a level that people from home they could use a little more. That's one thing. So if we could have a little part where we have some form of studio or so, that would be amazing, because we could reach other people even outside of Zurich. Another thing that I feel as an international church is that we have a door into the city for people who just came and they don't feel home yet. And so we could provide German classes, we could provide ways into learning more about the financial system of Switzerland, as we're doing right now. And that too requires a place where you can meet. And if it's just dispersed around the city, that's all right. It would be so much better if it's in one place, so people know, oh, this was the place I did my course with the kids, or I had my childcare. That could be another thing we could provide. And then the step from meeting on a Monday for the moms group to going on a Sunday and sending your kids into the same rooms, but then going to worship, that for me would, like, that excites me.
Yeah. Also, I guess if people would know this is the church and it's always at the same place and it's permanently there, we could have like so much more stuff going on during the week as well. Or we could have a party and the neighbors will come too, and we could have kids worship weeks or whatever it is. It would just be so much easier for us to have it in our own permanent building.
Bottom line, it takes away excuses not to do things.
Yeah,
that's one thing as well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, ultimately, church really is about community, and in order to have community, we need a space where we can do that. Thank you so much for sharing. If you guys have further questions as to why we need a building, or if there are some things we didn't answer, then feel free to reach out to Simon and Sarah at any time. I'm sure you'll see them at church sometimes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Where that leads.